restored to a new life. They found a loving family and are at the center of a pioneering project.
Dinner time!
A team of scientists are taking the place of their mother to teach them how to be wild.
Learn a learning process, like going to school. Every day you learn a new thing.
It'll take 2 years of training to prepare them. If it works, it'll be the first time that humans have taught jaguars how to survive in the wild. The story starts with 3 tiny jaguar cubs starving in a forest in Brazil. They are all alone and are calling for their mother, but she can't come. She's dead. But help is on the way. Jaguar expert Leandro Silveira has been called in to rescue them. The cub's mother was shot by cattle ranchers, who see jaguars as the enemy. Hundreds of jaguars have been killed, and are orphans left to die. But one cowboy had a change of heart.
He fulfilled orphans, and he gave them to government officials, because he knew they would starve to death. So luckily, this guy changed the destiny of the 3 cubs.
Leandro and his wife Anna simply couldn't turn them away. It was a life-changing commitment.
They were not in the best health condition. They were already dehydrated. One had diarrhea, and I don't think they would last 2 days out in the wild.
Leandro and Anna have studied jaguars together for 20 years in the wild, but they've never done anything like this.
It's a species that we're dedicating our life to work with, and 3 orphans, it's something that really touches you right in the heart, because they're going to die if you don't do something now.
These cubs are now safe, but hundreds of other jaguar cubs are orphaned every year and simply left to die. If any are rescued, they spend their life in captivity. Up to now, none have ever been successfully released. But these cubs have a second chance to be free. In the wild, cubs stay close to their mother, learning all their hunting and survival skills from her. Now Leandro and Anna have to take the place of that mother. It's a bold scientific experiment. If it succeeds, it could pave the way for other orphan jaguars. But it's not going to be easy. Leandro and Anna have 2 years to teach the cubs how to survive. Their first step is building a jaguar-proof enclosure in their back garden. At 6 months old, the cubs are already becoming distinct characters. Maya is the smallest and the most playful, and she's Anna's favorite.
I like all of them, but Maya is more calm or sweet. and I prefer her.
Her sister, Kira, is the wildest and always up for a fight.
Now,
Kira is more aggressive.
she has a very distinct mood.
Since the beginning, since a little.
She gets wild, especially with food. She beat them up and get the food first, and she dominates the other two.
Givenchy is the only male. Although he's the biggest, he's a gentle giant, Leandra's favorite.
Oh, that could be Jewish guy. Hey, Shavan, come here. Come here. Shavan is really the typical man, the big boy, the teenager that's starting to go out.
The cubs will soon be back to full strength and ready to start their training. A far cry from when they were found close to starvation.
We're very happy to have this privilege to have the cubs. At the same time, it's very sad the reason why they're here. They're not supposed to be here. They had their mother killed, they're orphans, and that happens all the time in Jaguars. And I've heard several reports from legal hunters that they said, oh, I killed the mother, there was some cubs, and I say, what do you do with the cubs? Oh, I just left there. They wouldn't last long.
Brazil is changing fast. The Jaguars' forest home has been cleared to make way for cattle and crops. Their natural prey has been replaced by livestock, and jaguars are now being forced from their tiny fragments of forest to feed on cattle. The cowboys retaliate by killing them.
Look at the drama of their life. It's a real drama of the species. If we look what we as humans are doing to the jaguars, it's just not fair. We remove their habitat. We put out cows where they used to live. And they have to live in this tiny pocket of the forest. They come out and eat cows, and in retaliation we kill them. And we leave so many orphans behind every year that will starve to death. This is not a fair game.
This persecution is a major cause in the decline of jaguars. But the three orphans have been spared the fate of their mother. Their journey back to the wild is about to begin in earnest. The first job of a jaguar mother is to show the cubs around their new world. A generation ago, this was all forest. The cubs will have to learn how to survive in a landscape dominated by fields and farming. Today's family outing is for the cubs to get used to this environment.
Hey, remember this tree.
And it's a chance to practice a key skill for jaguars, tree climbing.
Jaguars have a special relation with trees, first for marking. They have the snake glands here on their paws, so they mark it, and eventually they go up to rest. Come on.
Maya is a natural climber, but Givenchy and Kira need a little encouragement from their human parents.
Kira, come here. Come on, come here. Hey, come here, good boy, come here. Yes. This is good for them to come out and have a feeling what this wide landscape around them so that they start getting used to that. It's a good exercise for them.
Leandro and Anna are trying to get the cubs fit for training. They're not used to having so much space and stay close to their human parents. The cubs have become part of the family, even sharing the sandwiches.
Hey, picnic! Who wants the sandwich? You want the sandwich?
This closeness may be fine for now, but at some point they will need to learn to fear humans.
They still have a bond with us, so they feel that we are protection. But we might lose that very, very soon. So maybe it's the lost opportunities we're having for them to move around us and play around without trying to go away.
After the fun, some more serious training has to start. The cubs need to recognize the taste and feel of different prey. At this age in the wild, their mother would bring back different animals for them to try. This evening, they're feeding on peccary for the first time.
Dinner time! Hey! We're letting the cubs experience feeding on this species so that they can recognize the smell. They can start finding its way to the carcass. They seem to like it. And they better do, because this is what they're going to be eating when they're released. They're in a learning process, like going to school every day, you learn new things here. They learn how to fight with other Jaguars, have a territory.
As usual, the larger female, Kira, is the most dominant of the three. Her wild instincts are emerging much faster than her brother and sister. Maya is much more timid and quickly backs down from the fight. Although Chivanshi is much bigger than Kira, he's wary of her and won't challenge her for the peccary. The early signs are that Kira will be the first of the three cubs ready for release. Over the next few weeks, the cubs are introduced to all sorts of natural prey, and they take to it all with relish. This is a good sign. In the wild, jaguars need a very broad diet and eat over 60 different kinds of animals. The cubs get plenty of practice with their two deadly weapons, their teeth and their claws.
Just reinforcing the knowledge that they're going to fight for their food.
The three cubs also discover that not every animal is on the menu. The orphans' training has started well. They can now recognize their prey. But when they head into the wild, the odds will be firmly stacked against them. Most big cat releases ultimately end in failure because they can't hunt for themselves and they have no fear of humans. There's a long way to go before they are ready for release. The orphans are now 11 months old and are growing quickly. They have 1 year left until their release. One thing all young cubs need is exercise to develop strong muscles. In the wild, they'll be walking several miles a day in search of prey. Most days now, they let off the lead to stretch their limbs and follow their noses. And today, their noses lead them to water. Jaguars are aquatic animals, so Leandro and Anna have built the cubs their very own open-air swimming pool. It's a fun part of their training, but in the wild they'll need to stalk and hunt in rivers to survive. The smallest cub, Maya, seems to have a special affinity with the water. She's always been the most playful of the three. The orphans are in their element, enjoying their new pool. But there's a serious point to this exercise.
Among all large cats, jaguars are the one that most love water. They hunt by rivers, they hunt capybaras, caiman, turtles, and they are good divers too. And so all this is very important for them. Hey, look at what you've done. Hey! Ah! Getting worse. It's not fair.
The cubs are in no rush to go home and keep disappearing into the tall grass.
It's about time to take them back to their enclosure. But, it's like waiting for the kids in the park. They want to have the last minute's fun playing around and chasing. So we're just waiting for that moment to end and have them back.
Even when they're out of their enclosure, the cubs are still deeply attached to Leandro and Anna, looking to them for reassurance. After a life of studying jaguars from a distance, they're enjoying the close contact. But how much longer can it go on? Perhaps the biologists have become too close to the subjects of their experiment. Apart from looking after the three orphans, Leandro and Anna also run the Jaguar Conservation Fund from their home. Whenever there's a jaguar emergency in the area, they're the first port of call. This morning, a large wild female jaguar has been brought into the ranch by wildlife officials. She was found concussed by the side of the road, and the plan is to release her back into the wild as soon as possible. It's the perfect chance for a real-life rehearsal for the three cubs.
Okay. Well, this cat was reported to be hit by a car, took it to the vet, x-rayed, but there's no evidence of any bone, any fractures. So this is the kind of cat that's eligible for returning to the wild as soon as possible. And you can see it's big enough and strong enough to easily kill a human being. So it is a very dangerous cat.
The wild female has been fitted with a satellite collar to track her after release. If it works, they'll do the same with the three cubs.
Perfect. Perfect.
Last week's case, have I?
The wild female will now be left alone and released when she's fully recovered. The 3 cubs are exactly halfway through their training and making good progress when events take an unexpected turn. Givenchy, the biggest and strongest of the 3 orphans, has fallen seriously ill. He's hardly able to move.
He had already fallen, he couldn't get up anymore, and he was breathing with some difficulty. When I looked closer, he had his pupil dilated and definitely was immune. It was as if he didn't recognize me. He was just really acting as if he was not going to make it.
The biggest fear of all is that Givenchy's mystery illness could spread to his sisters.
This is my lowest point so far. I think it's just unthinkable to lose Givenchy at this stage. After all this investment, after all this success at this point, losing him for a disease.
It's been a long, sleepless night. After an injection prescribed by the vet, Givenchy's condition seems to have stabilized, but he's still very weak. It's time to release the wild female. It's not safe to put her back where she came from, as she was living too close to roads and was hit by a car. So she's heading to a remote area of forest, where there's plenty of prey and places to hide.
There are Jaguars already in this region, so there's a chance she will find a mate and she'll establish her territory. I think she's going to the best place she could. Okay?
If the wild female stays in this area, she'll be safe. But jaguars roam large distances, and this is just a fragment of forest. Eventually she'll be forced to move through farmland, where cattle ranchers could shoot on sight. To them, jaguars are pests. The cowboys are simply protecting their cattle, and the jaguars are just following their instincts. When the two collide, the jaguar loses. They're now officially endangered in Brazil.
In our 1-year project, we collected over 30 jaguar skins. It's a tiny fraction of what is actually killed in Brazil every year. I can picture each of these skins as a living jaguar. The species won't tolerate this for much longer.
But there's good news. After a course of injections, Givenchy has recovered from his mystery illness, much to everyone's relief. Now the three Jaguars must continue with their training. Today they're being tested with a pampas steer. This allows Leandro to observe the strengths and weaknesses of each cub.
Yeah! We know that there's a carcass around. That's already a good sign.
Givenchy, the gentle giant, is trying to establish his dominance as the male.
It's interesting that Givenchy has taken over the carcass. Kira is trying to approach me, but she's respecting, she's giving him the space. Jaguars are solitary hunters and they feed solitary. Maya is waiting, Kira is waiting for Givenchy to finish his turn. Usually the male eats more than the female, he gets larger and the more dominant he becomes, so he ends up eating first. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. You see, right now they all have found a space in their way to see who's giving up. And now, Maya is starting to feed. But Givenchy and Kira haven't decided yet, because Givenchy is touching her. Jaguars don't like physical contact. Their position is very clear that they are very, very tense right now. That is deadlock, where I think one is hoping for the other one to give up, so they can start eating, but none of them wants to give up. Look at that. Kira is in an advantage position because she's underneath Givenchy. Now she got a position. At least you can breathe better now. Look at that.
After 10 minutes, the stalemate is finally broken. Maya walks away from the fight. She's still the smallest and can't compete with her more aggressive siblings. Eventually, Kira proves to be the cleverest of all. She chews through the rope and claims the prize all for herself. With her prey secured, Kira becomes extremely protective. It's the first time one of the Jaguars has issued such a clear threat, and even at this age, Kira could easily kill Leandro.
We have to leave her alone. She's too aggressive, and we should leave her.
Kira is losing her bond with people and developing the aggression she needs to live in the wild.
It's good to see that she's having that behavior. That means she's confident, she's growing, but it's the right time to be outside of the enclosure.
That fight was also a clear sign the three orphans have outgrown their cramped quarters. The Jaguars could easily injure each other, so Leandro needs to start work on a much bigger enclosure.
When we received the cubs, we never thought we'd be involved in such a big project. But I don't regret it. I think the Jaguars demand this investment.
The cubs' new home covers 5 acres. This is where they'll complete their training. Today the cubs are moving to their new home. They're now 15 months old. Shivanshi has fully recovered from his illness. They're accomplished swimmers, and they're ready to move on to the final phase before release. Moving home is always stressful. Kira, as usual, is the wildest.
It makes us nervous to see her like this. In some way, it's good that she's losing her bond with us and she wants to become wild.
Whilst Kira gets a lift, her brother and sister are still tame enough to be walked on the lead.
Hey, new home, come on!
The next time they pass through this gate will be when they finally return to the wild. The orphans are enjoying all the new sensations of their huge enclosure. There's plenty of space to explore, and from now on they'll be fed less and become leaner and fitter. In the next 3 months, they'll become adults, ready for life in the wild. And their new home comes complete with its own swamp. These teenagers are in excellent condition, strong and fit. They're now ready to face their final tests. In the wild, their mother would now be teaching them to hunt. Leandro will have to do the same. Today is a very big day for the 3 orphans. They must try to catch live prey for the first time in their lives. If they can't hunt, they'll never be released. Without a mother to show them the way, they must work it out for themselves. Today's test is with a giant bird called a rhea. It should be easy prey. They're extremely common in the wild, and they're farmed for their meat, but using captive live animals for hunting is controversial.
Giving them a chance to feed on live animals like this, their natural prey, is part of the process. We can't skip that part. We can't go around that. It's completely necessary. We either do that, or we leave the 3 cubs in captivity for the rest of their lives. Okay, the cubs seen it. Okay, Natalia, please open the gate.
Shivanshi quickly takes the lead. He makes a clean, fast kill. He's shown that with this first simple prey, he is capable of hunting for himself.
He's trying to develop me. That shows that he doesn't want to be seen as a cub anymore. He wants to be respected with his kill, and we might as well do that. We might as well just leave him with his prize. You know, he did a great job.
His sisters Maya and Kira will still need to prove themselves. But for Chavanchi, it's a special moment, the coming of age. When all is going well, a worrying piece of news casts a dark shadow over the whole project. It's the wild female that was released. After traveling almost 300 miles, her satellite signals stopped moving. Leandro sets off to track her down, but the signs are not good. The wild female has wandered deep into cattle country, a dangerous place for jaguars. Leandro drives for 6 hours across ranchland until the signal gets very close.
This is as far as we can get by car, and we are 350 meters from the car where the signal is coming. So we believe she's here just by this cliff here, and from now on, it's on foot.
After an hour of searching, Leandro discovers what his birthright is.
Oh, look at this.
She's clearly been dead for some time, so it's difficult to say how she died. But she was a big, healthy cat, and there are no obvious signs of injury.
The teeth are in its best shape. This is an animal with a peak-off capability of putting down a prey, so it doesn't make sense to me to believe that it died of natural causes.
The death of the wild female in cowboy country doesn't bode well for the 3 orphans.
It's a big, healthy cat, still mating. The chances of failure are always much greater than the chance of success. And of course, this is a major concern for us regarding the 3 cubs.
Leandro gathers up the remains and takes her home for a closer inspection. By a process of elimination, he's trying to deduce how she died.
Looking at the bones and analyzing the entire skeleton, I didn't find any bullet wounds. If you look at the teeth, you look at the claws, I mean, it was in perfect condition. That also would lead us to think that it did not starve to death. And definitely it was not preyed by another jaguar because there's no tooth marks on the skeleton. So coming back to where this cat was, in deep cattle country, my best guess would be that this cat was poisoned.
The poisoning of jaguars is increasingly common in Brazil. It's a silent and efficient method of killing. If a truly wild female can't survive in the New Brazil, there's little hope for the 3 orphans. The orphans have now reached full size and are almost ready for release. But they have one more test to complete. Today they face their toughest prey, the peccary. an aggressive animal with extremely sharp tusks, and an important part of the jaguar's diet. If they can kill a peccary, then they're ready for release. Shivanshi and Kira quickly dispatch it with no difficulty.
I'm really proud to see that they're able to kill the peccary. This is the best situation we could ever have in the case of rehabilitating a teaching pregnant.
But not all of the orphans have passed the test. The smallest of the three, Maya, has been injured by the peccary.
Come here. Let's see your wounds. Come on. Turn. Wow! She has really a nasty injury here. That shows how aggressive and how a challenge a white-lipped peccary is to its kill.
Maya has always been the most gentle, and there are growing concerns that she may not make it in the wild.
For us, it always seemed that Kira and Shivanshi were ready to move to the next step in terms of maturity, in terms of behavior. And Maya, since the beginning, she's taking a little bit longer.
Where Maya is falling behind, Kira is already reaching sexual maturity. And it's not just her hormones that are changing. Her scent has aroused the interest of her brother, Shivanshi.
Shivanshi's checking the grass for some scent in the air. He's slowly changing his behavior into a more mature behavior. Like, see how he's spraying. Probably with one of the females, and he just sprayed now. So that shows that he's coming to sexual maturity. He's starting to read the environment in terms of smells that interest him as an adult male.
With their biological clocks ticking, the pressure is now on to release them. But one problem still remains for the Jaguars. They bond with people. Leandro and Anna had planned to cut off all physical contact with the orphans in the months leading up to release. But they seem unable to let go. Ironically, it's their love for the three orphans that could endanger them most. If the Jaguars have no fear of people, they are more likely to end up being shot in the wild.
If we release 3 Jaguars in a row that are bonded to people, we know that this is a risk to them. It is possible that we made a mistake, that we're not so good as we expected to be in getting them away from humans. This is pioneer work. This has never been done before, and we will have to learn with the mistakes for the future rehabilitation. And it could be that we'll have to change the training process. We're learning, and we will have to learn from those mistakes in order to correct for future rehabilitations. What's happening? Why are you so nervous?
The other reason most big cat releases fail is because they can't hunt for themselves. So the orphans must now spend their last days in captivity honing their hunting skills. Kira and Shivanshi become more and more expert. And Maya too is gaining in confidence and skill, perhaps learning from her brother and sister. Then day, she takes on the pickery by herself. The chase is quick, and she kills it with one bite to the back of the neck. At last she has proved herself ready for release.
This is one of the most exciting days for us because we were always concerned if Maya would ever make it. Maybe we never be that ready, and she just proved that we were wrong. She's capable of killing a lot in Packery. After we released Kira and Charvanchi, she can be free.
Apart from their first few days with their mother in the wild, the cubs have only ever known a life behind bars. For the last 2 years, these wild-born predators have been locked up in enclosures. Finally, the time has come for the first of the 3 orphans to be released. Kira has always been the wildest of the 3, and she will be the first to go. She's had her satellite collar fitted and will now leave her enclosure and her brother and sister for the last time.
We have just tested her radio signal. We are getting one position at every hour. The equipment's working. She's ready. She's in good health. She's ready. We're ready to.
Is being taken to a specially selected area of forest far away from people.
The special thing about this area is that there's virtually no cattle ranching going on here. She has all the food she needs here, and she has all the habitat, and that's why we think she can do very well in this area. We just hope she doesn't move away from here.
Leandro has built an enclosure at the release site, so Kira can get used to her new surroundings before she's set free. Kira's big day. With all the people gathered around her cage for the release, Kira is stressed. After 2 years together, it's hard to say goodbye.
A lot of things going on in my mind now that makes me feel very, very happy, privileged to be involved with this, but very anxious also to see how this is going to all end up.
Leandro can talk today as a scientist, but I will talk as a
mother. Mas por que isso?
As a person that took care of this special animal, I will miss Kira.
feeling in the air, and she's finally free, but at the same time, she's just having this dramatic separation from her brother and sister. And it's a sad moment, but at the same time, there's some excitement and some expectation that she'll have a good life.
In her first few weeks in the wild, Kira spends most of her time in sugarcane plantations and is adapting well to her new life. By looking at the data coming in from her satellite collar, the team can chart Kira's exact movements hour by hour. When she spends 2 days in the same spot, this may mean that she has made a kill, but they need to check.
Yeah. This is the special moment we were waiting for Kira. This is a white-lip peccary, and it's an adult. It shows that she's able to survive going after her own food and not depending on us. So all her learning and captivity and being put in practice here, this is the proof of it. She got her first adult peccary in the wild.
With such positive results, they now have the green light to release Givenchy and Maya. Leandro is releasing them together in the hope that Givenchy can help his little sister Maya if she runs into trouble. At first, Givenchy seems unsure of himself and keeps looking back at Leandro. Maya's first reaction to freedom is to climb the nearest tree. She was always their biggest concern, but she's finally made it into the wild. She joins her brother, and together they turn their back on their old life and walk away into the forest. Back home, they track the orphan's progress. And it's not long before there's a problem. On only his second day in the wild, Givenchy is exploring his new surroundings when he suddenly stops moving.
Givenchy's signal is coming from this place, and he's not moving for the last 15 hours.
Givenchy! Givenchy! Givenchy!
It could be his collar has come off, or it could be worse.
Jaguars! He answered. Yes.
Look.
Jaguars.
menino.
For some reason, Givenchy's been lying low in a safe spot and not moving. When they look closer, they see he's been badly injured by a group of peccaries.
His wounds are terrible. He has wounds all over. His chin, his paws, really badly injured. Here in his belly. And there was a big fight. It doesn't seem like he fed on it. He doesn't have a full stomach. Look at this cut. It's a real bad injury. But I'm sure he's going to heal from it. And I just hope that he gained that more experience and he's going to be more precise next time. Shabanti.
The plan was to cut off all contact with the orphans after release, but in this case, they felt they had to intervene.
To know that Shavanch is badly injured is very important. If we didn't come and check on him, we'll never understand exactly what is happening with him. And I know it's not what we really wanted, but it's necessary to understand where we have failures and where we have successes.
And I think as soon as we know about this, we will cut our contact straight to them.
After a dose of antiseptic, Givenchy heads back off into the wilderness, worse for wear, but wiser. Back at the house, everything seems very quiet. But the family soon have a new arrival. Another Jaguar orphan has been brought in after its mother was shot, and Leandro and Anna are now back to where they started.
The problem that we're facing with the Jaguar is far from being solved. If we don't stop the killing of Jaguars out there, we will continue having orphans like this. And if we don't find the solution to stop the killing now, the species will become extinct. And that is a fact.
Immediately after release, Maya splits up with her brother. But after exploring the area, she comes back to find him. They were released together so Givenchy would take care of her, but it seems Maya is looking after him. Kira soon moves out of the sugarcane and takes up residence in a large eucalyptus plantation. Leandro and Anna hope Kira will stay in this area, away from cattle ranchers. But a Jaguar's home range covers over 30 square miles. Roaming such large distances, it's only a matter of time before Kira and her two siblings come across people.
Of course we're worried about them being out there on their own, crossing human-dominated landscape like this, and having the chance to meet a cowboy and being shot. But now we've done our part, and we just hope they have the luck to not meet humans again and be shot.
It's still early days for this project. To be a real success, the Jaguars must not only survive, but find a mate and raise their own families. But these are the first steps towards a new life for these orphans, and new hope for all abandoned Jaguar cubs.
BBC HD in-depth analysis of the headlines with Newsnight.